Physical criminal threat against someone to do some activity that the government couldn't say, I'm not questioning whatever the content is of that activity. I'm simply saying we, in our governmental powers, have a right to say, you can't do that. You can't speak.
Sure, Your Honor. So to take your question in pieces, I do think that they would have a compelling interest in that scenario to do something. But what I don't think is that they could simply target speakers in speech. Take, for example, generally applicable laws like the
So you think in that situation that the only thing the government could do is tell the Washington Post, disclose to the public that you are saying this because you are being forced to?
So
That's the only remedy the government could undertake?
No, Your Honor, but I want to make sure I understand the hypothetical. The compelling interest is in preventing this kind of compulsion, coercion, and ultimately harm to children. And I think that the government has a lot of different ways they can address that through speech-neutral laws. And I was going to point to things like the Trading with the Enemy Act or Russia sanctions. You can broadly say and attack problems.
They haven't been very effective.
Well, be that as
we're still having people kidnapped. We're still having coercion.
And be that as it may, you can say to Americans, you cannot collaborate with our enemies at all. And if you do that, you're going to be severely punished for doing that.
All right, we can go on to the effectiveness of the remedy. But the point is, I believe, that even if your First Amendment rights are impinged and there is some protection, the question is at what level of scrutiny?
Yes, Your Honor.
And whether that the action is content neutral or not.
I agree that that is the way that the analysis proceeds. Here, we believe that the level of scrutiny should be strict scrutiny.
What is the relevance of the history? Chief Judge Srinivasan, in his opinion, in the D.C. Circuit, emphasized that there is a long tradition of preventing foreign ownership or control of media in the United States, going back radio, television, and what have you. I would think no matter the level of scrutiny, that history has to be important, and I want to get your response to it.
I don't actually think it's important in this context because that history all arises in the context of bandwidth scarcity. And in that context, you have the government that's in the position of doling out a limited number of licenses. And when you have to dole out a limited number of licenses, you